about Mexico City is that there are 1 million places to eat and drink. So before I went down there, I had this massive list of restaurants and coffee shops and things that I wanted to get to. I felt like I was having some like stress and anxiety over the fact that I wasn't going to be able to make it to all of those places, plus all of the ones that we discovered when we got down there. And what I came to realize after spending a couple of weeks there is to just let that all go. If you're traveling in Mexico City, you don't need to have a list of places that you need to hit. You could literally just go down there and stop into whatever place is speaking to you as you're roaming around the streets, and you're gonna have a great time. You're gonna have a great meal, you're gonna have a great coffee, you're gonna have a great pastry, whatever it is. There are so many options and so many great choices. So don't let yourself get stressed out like I did. But if you are like me and you're looking for a list and you wanna have a little bit of an idea about the places that you're gonna hit up when you go down there, you definitely need to check out Rosetta Bakery. I think Rosetta was probably the restaurant that was recommended the most to me before I went down there. We weren't able to get a reservation for while we were there. However, we were able to make it to Rosetta Bakery. So we actually ended up going 2 times. There was a really big line both times, but the line moves super quickly, so don't let it deter you. Both times we got our pastries to go rather than waiting for a table. It's so crowded around there anyways. I feel like the dine-in experience wouldn't be very relaxing. We had a great time just getting our pastries and coffee to go and heading around the corner to Park Rio de Janeiro. And it's a great place to enjoy the amazing pastries that you can pick up from Rosetta Bakery. I tried the cardamom bun, the cinnamon bun, the guava bun, and the almond bun. I feel like I'm maybe calling all of those buns and they might not all be called buns, but my favorites were the guava bun, which is what they're famous and known for. They have really great coffee there as well. For a city that is kind of known for their coffee, I feel like I didn't have a ton of great coffee experiences, but Rosetta has it down. The other one that I want to mention is a place called Fuego y Cafe. It's right across the street from Park España. This was the place where I had the best actual cup of coffee. So I'm a big coffee gal. I like to drink my coffees black. I had an Americano at pretty much every single restaurant or cafe that we went to the entire time that we were there. I wasn't always getting the best coffees. However, at Fuego y Cafe, they roast their own beans and the vibes were really great. The owner was there and he made us our coffee for us. It's a nice, quiet place to work, but really why I'm mentioning this place is because it had the best cup of coffee that I tried the entire time that I was there. So if you're a fan of a black Americano, that's the place to go. Kind of in line with cafes, the next category that I'm going to talk about is places to work remote. So we were working remote while we were down there, and the best place that we found to work remote was actually the WeWork. We were going to the one here. They just have everything you need. They have tea, coffee, water, a nice place to sit with a solid seat, lots of sunshine and windows, a beautiful balcony that you can go and take a break and sit on. And everyone around you is working, so it's just really easy to focus and concentrate. If you need to take calls, they had some little phone booths that you could go into so you could have a more private, quiet call. I didn't have any meetings that I needed to attend. My husband did, and he was never actually able to get a phone booth. I think maybe once or twice out of all of the days that he was there because they were always really busy. So keep that in mind, but WeWork was definitely the best place for remote work. But if you're looking for somewhere to work for free where you don't have to pay the price to go in and work, the 2 best places that I found to work were 2 cafes. The first one is Blend Station. So Blend Station is a chain. The one that we were going to was this one here. And this was great because first of all, they have great coffee, but also amazing, amazing food. I loved the avocado bread with tempeh on top, and then also the oatmeal. Both were absolutely incredible. I still think about them to this day. It's like weeks later and I still wake up in the morning like, I wish I could have Blend Station for breakfast. The cafe is just full of people on their laptops. They have an assortment of tables as well, so if you prefer to sit at a low table and work, they have those. Or if you want a high table, they have that option as well. Had a really tall ceiling, so it was really nice and airy. The people working there were super friendly. And then the second place that I really like to work at was called Cafe Comunidad. They have, I think, a yoga studio in the back, but the vibes were just really calm and peaceful. It has kind of an indoor-outdoor feel because they have these really big windows going all across the front and the side of the building that are open. So even if you're working inside, you feel like you're outdoors. They had really great food here as well. Lots of really good vegan and veggie options. All right, let's talk about the big one. Let's talk about restaurants. So the #1 restaurant that we went to the entire time we were down there is called Choza. So Choza is very off the grid, very off the map. Literally, they have like 1 Google review and I think it's 3 stars. We actually found out about it because we were staying in an Airbnb that was in a building of all Airbnbs, and because we were there for so long, we ended up meeting like quite a few people as they came and went on their trips. And we met a girl, she had a bunch of friends in Mexico City, she was traveling with friends, like she was just very up to date on all the things that were cool. So she actually told us about Choza. It is a Thai-inspired restaurant. I wouldn't say the food was really Thai food. It's definitely like Asian flair, but yeah, not like Thai specific. It was really cool. So we had to stand in line outside the building for about 20 minutes before they let us in. There's no sign. You just kind of have to know where you are. And the restaurant's kind of all set up in a house. So on the first floor was a bar area that was set up. It had a very bohemian feel. There were a few different things that you could order off the menu food-wise if you wanted to. You could also order drinks. The drink menu was pretty small. They had 3 options for natural wines. I think they had 1 cocktail option, 1 beer option, and then the rest of the options were non-alc. So not a huge bar menu, but we ordered a bottle of wine because we knew we were going to be there for a while, and we ended up sitting in the bar portion for about an hour, just like getting nice and drunk, which was super fun. They eventually came and got us and took us upstairs, and the vibes upstairs were immaculate. The owner of the restaurant was DJing, and he was playing super eclectic, really fun music. The music was really loud, the restaurant was really dark, which that's totally me and Will's vibe. This was the best food that I've ever had in my life. I don't like to say the best in case I'm forgetting about things because I have eaten some delicious, amazing food in my life. So maybe I won't say the best, but this was some of the best food that I've ever eaten in my life. Everything was so delicious, especially the dessert cookie. I'm not even a big dessert person, and I literally loved that. The vibes were so high, the people were so nice. It was just a 10 out of 10 on food, atmosphere, service, experience, like everything. We absolutely loved our time at Choza, and if you're visiting Mexico City, this is like the place to check out. Make sure you're not starving before you go, or you can order some snacks while you wait for your table upstairs. But yeah, definitely go and check this place out, you guys. We loved it. Another restaurant that I heard about from our Toronto friend at the Airbnb was Lardo. We were able to get a reservation there on the patio on a Friday night, and I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to sit in the restaurant. So if you are making your reservation far enough in advance, you'll be able to reserve in the restaurant, and that's what I would recommend. But if you can only get the patio like we could, it's still worth going because the food is excellent. This was one of the best meals that we had the entire time we were in Mexico City. We also had great service, really good English speaking, which is helpful if you're pickier about the type of food that you're ordering like I am. This next one is one that we just kind of stumbled upon. We didn't have a reservation for dinner one Saturday night, I believe, and so we just kind of looked on Google Maps and chose a spot that had really good reviews but didn't look like it was going to be super busy, and we ended up at this place, Pasta Commedia, and it's very small. Everything is outside, so there is no indoor seating. I think there was maybe like 6 tables out on the sidewalk. It's not fancy at all, but they have fresh pasta, so they were literally like making and cutting and cooking the pasta right in front of us after we ordered it, and we absolutely loved our pasta. My mom was really full this day, and she just had a salad for dinner, and she ordered the salad and got like this massive, delicious, big salad. It's really casual, but it was really quick. It wasn't busy. The food was fantastic. I feel like it's kind of a sleeper. It's not something that I feel like I heard anyone mention at all before I went down there, and I watched so many YouTube videos. So this is one I feel like I have the inside information on, and you guys should check it out if you're looking for a more chill night and a big bowl of pasta. And then let's talk tacos, because we can't go all the way to Mexico City and not try a shit ton of tacos. So we ate a lot of tacos, Will even more than me because he was eating all the meat tacos. We did try Orinoco's, which is one of the most recommended taco restaurants down there, but Will actually didn't think that those were his favorites. His favorite tacos of the trip were from a taco stand that was near the WeWork that he was working at every day. And the taco stand was called Tacos y Burritos El Jarochito. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I can't read my own writing. Every time we would walk by, it would be super busy. There were tons of people around eating it, so he knew that they were going to be good. And when he finally got to order them, he really, really enjoyed them. If you're interested in some veggie / like vegan tacos, the best tacos that I personally had were from a taco stand as well. This one was called Gatorta, and it was a fully vegan taco truck with all different kinds of vegan meat, and these were so delicious. This is another one where just thinking about it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sad that I don't have access to these tacos in my day-to-day life. We ordered 3 each, which was way too many. They really like hook you up with the portions, and it was so delicious, and it was such a fun experience for me to get to eat at one of the taco stands, because most of them don't have like a veggie or especially a vegan option. And then separate from restaurants, I wanted to talk about bars. So the first one that I want to tell you guys about is a place called Felina. So this was one that we found just on Google Maps while we were down there. It wasn't one that we had heard about previously. They had some really unique drinks on their menu. And one of the reasons that I loved this place so much, besides the atmosphere and the good drinks that we had, was the tacos. So they were like partnered with the restaurant that was next door to them, and I've tried to find this restaurant on Google Maps to share it with you guys, like just the restaurant itself, but it's not showing up on Google Maps for some reason. They were serving tacos from this restaurant, and they were incredible. We had a zucchini flour one, and then we had one with lentils and tzatziki, which was so random. They were both really different and like not your traditional type of Mexican tacos, but they were so delicious. And the combination of the delicious tacos with the vibey bar and the delicious drinks, we just had such a good time. So definitely a recommend from me. Another one that we really liked for drinks and food was Cafe de Natty. So Cafe de Natty makes the, I think, top 50 bars in North America list, and we had a really great experience there. I really loved my drink, and they had some really good food options as well. I think we ordered some oysters. I've literally never seen oysters as big as the oysters that they had that night, but they had these little bits of cucumber chopped up and put on top of the oysters, and they were so delicious and so fresh. They were great. And then we ordered this like sourdough oniony dippy thing that was like delicious and different and fun and unlike anything that we have ever eaten before. And the music in there was great. They were playing vinyls. Another one from one of those top lists that we had heard about before we went down, probably the most recommended bar to us, was called Handshake Speakeasy. So it's not really a speakeasy, like everybody kind of knows about it. And when you show up, there's like a massive line of people waiting to get in. So it's not very secretive, but when you show up, you're greeted by someone who works there. They take you down these stairs and through this big secret door into the bar, and it has a very like speakeasy feel once you get inside. So it's like more a speakeasy theme than an actual speakeasy. I think this one ranked number 3 for bars in the world and number 2 for bars in North America. So we had really high expectations, and the drinks here were spectacular. The ingredients were so fresh. The combinations of ingredients were really unique, but not in like a weird way. Lots of times when people are inventing cocktails, they can be kind of weird, but the ones that they had here were really thoughtful. We had 2 different cocktails each, so I got to taste 4 of the cocktails that they had on the menu, and I enjoyed every single one of them. My favorite one out of the 4 that I tried was the, I believe it was fig Negroni, kind of like a traditional Negroni with a fig spin on it, and it also had like fresh coconut in it. It was spectacular, amazing, delicious. We did order food at Handshake that I didn't enjoy. We ordered these baby artichokes that were beautiful to look at, but just not that tasty. I don't know, the texture of the artichokes was not ideal and the sauce wasn't very flavorful. So maybe order something else if you're gonna order food there, or just go for a drink and maybe head out somewhere else to eat dinner. We felt very luxurious and had a great time. Another bar that I loved that had a completely different feel was Supra. It's a rooftop bar. This one had a really cool entrance as well. You come up to this building that you really wouldn't think would have a bar inside of it. It's kind of residential slash commercial. It almost kind of looks like a hospital. And there's someone at the door who's just kind of like pointing, like, go this way, and right next to the building is an alley. So you walk down the alley and then you're in this big underground car park, and there's just like a man standing there behind a velvet rope. That's the entrance to Supra. So he like lets you into the building through a back door, and there's no signage or anything. I just knew that it was on the top floor, so we just kind of found an elevator and like hit penthouse and like hoped that it would open up at the bar, and luckily it did. And this place was great. It had really good vibes. They were playing great music. The view of the city was absolutely spectacular. It's worth going just to have a drink and look at the view. If you want to spend a little bit of time here, I would recommend making a reservation and actually getting a table, because if you don't have a table, they kind of relegate you to this one area of the bar and you're just kind of stuck there. You can't really like move around and see the different areas of the bar, like where the dance floor is and stuff. I feel like maybe later in the night they would be like less strict about like where people stand, but when we were there, they were like, you guys have to stay like in this area, because we had made a reservation. So if you want to just go for a drink, just grab a drink at the bar, take in the view. Stunning, beautiful, great spot. This is definitely more of like clubbing night out vibes than like chill and have a drink and chat vibes. And then the last bar that I want to talk about is actually a wine bar. So this place was called Vigneron. We had a fantastic bottle of wine here and some great food. I actually went with my mom and we were walking to a different restaurant that I had found on Google Maps. And as we were walking by, we were like, maybe we should just go here. So we sat down, ordered ourselves a bottle of wine, and had fantastic dinner, fantastic wine, just an overall great time. Look how beautiful this plate of fish is that my mom ordered with these flowers. This is stunning. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. So creativity was high, execution was high, wine selection high. All right, we're cruising. The next things we're gonna talk about are my favorite things to do. So first I wanna talk about non-touristy options, and obviously it's a gigantic city. There are so many things to do, and this is very tailored to the types of things that me and Will like to do. For example, Will and I love an art gallery, so we were on the hunt for different art galleries. There are tons of amazing local artists in Mexico City, and two of the galleries that we loved the most were, number one, Koenig. So this gallery is originally out of Berlin, and they have a second location in Seoul, and then they had recently just opened their third location in Mexico City. The way they have it set up is really cool. It's not like a traditional art gallery. You actually kind of walk in through the garage of a house where they have some pictures up, and then you enter into the house, and the gallery is the walls of this home. So it's really cool to be able to see the art like actually on the walls of a house, like how it would be displayed in your own home, kind of, rather than like on a traditional art gallery wall. They had art inside, outside. They also have every month, I think, an artist who comes and lives in the house. The artist that they had the month that we were there was a sculptor, and she had all of her statues set up on the roof of the house. There was like a big terrace up on the top of the roof, so we got to go up there, and it was just a really great experience. The other gallery that we liked, we went to right at the end of our trip, and it was called Gamma Gallery. We went because Will was looking for some more like pop or street art, and they did not disappoint. They had some really amazing works when we were there, and everything there is for purchase, as art is in most galleries, but is quite reasonable, like as opposed to at the Koenig gallery where things were like 40,000 euros. The artwork at the Gamma gallery was like 3,000 pesos, which is closer to like 250 Canadian dollars. So more affordable if you actually are like looking for art to buy. But yeah, some really great, fun, bright, colorful, just like energized type of art here. They offered us beers when we arrived. Again, like super friendly, came and like showed us around the exhibits and stuff. So we really enjoyed our time at Gamma as well. Every Sunday there's a park, Jardin del Arte, Jardin del Art, I don't know. Basically there's this giant park and like hundreds, I don't know, 100 artists come and they set up these easels covered in all of their work, and you can just walk around in the park and look at everyone's artwork. It is so amazing. There's so much variety and so much talent, and it's just amazing to be able to walk around outside and look at art. Like usually to look at art you have to go like inside a museum or inside a gallery, but to get to enjoy the nice weather and the sunshine and be in a park and then also get to look at art, like it was just fantastic. We ended up going twice, so definitely check that out. You don't have to be like an art lover to do that. It's just, yeah, something great to do, like a really nice Sunday activity. And then the last thing that I have on here that we did is actually mini golfing. I don't know if you need to go mini golfing if you're like just going on a short trip to Mexico City, but if you're working remote and looking for fun things to do, we found this mini golf course and it was on actually the roof of a mall. We did mini golf while the sun was setting. There's also a rock climbing wall there if you're interested in that, and then there's like a Wingstop attached. So we had mini golf and then went to Wingstop, and it was just a great date night, and highly recommend if you're just looking for like a fun, yeah, like kind of date night activity, or maybe like something to do with your kids while you're down there. I don't know. Really enjoyed the mini golf. All right, and then things to do, tourist version. So there are so many tourist attractions in Mexico City. It's full of history, art, architecture, museums, galleries. There's just so much to do. My two favorite of the tourist attractions in Mexico City were Castillo de Chapultepec. I also went here twice because I went with my mom and then I wanted to take Will back there. It is a giant castle in the middle of Chapultepec Park, which Chapultepec Park is this massive park in the middle of Mexico City. So it's nice to be able to like hit the park and Castillo de Chapultepec at the same time. I didn't really know what to expect here because I had seen people talk about it in their YouTube videos, but mostly they were just talking about like the views of the city that you can see from the Castillo. But I have a real interest in history. I took history in university, and there was a really big historical aspect to the Castillo as well. I actually recommend doing some reading before you go, especially if you speak English only, because a lot of the signage when you first arrive is only in Spanish. So you miss a lot of what they're talking about in the historical part of everything when you first get there. Eventually, when you get to the back part of the castle, they do have some English signage as well, which I was very grateful for. But yeah, nice to maybe do a little bit of background research before you go, just so you kind of know what you're looking at. Yeah, it was full of historical facts and artifacts, old furniture, old jewelry, again, tons of art. They had beautiful stained glass throughout the house, some amazing, beautiful gardens and fountains, and those beautiful views of the city that everyone talks about with the checkered balcony floor. It was really incredible. We spent so long there because there's just so much to do and see and read about, and I really loved it and feel like it's a do not miss, absolutely do not miss if you're going to Mexico City and you're looking for touristy things to go to. I went both during the week and on the weekend, and I would recommend going during the week if you can. It was a lot quieter when I went with my mom during the week, and you're able to kind of like take your time a bit more. You can get some pictures without like a million people in the background, but don't skip it if you can only make it on the weekend because it's fantastic. And then the other kind of touristy attraction in the city that I would say you don't want to miss is going to the historic downtown. Downtown they have El Zocalo, which is a big square in the middle of the old historic part of the city. And attached to the Zocalo is this beautiful gigantic old church. But then while you're down there, you're also in this older part of the city, and so you get to see a completely different side of Mexico City. Probably if you're staying there, you're likely staying in either Roma Norte or Condesa. This is where majority of the visitors stay when they visit Mexico City. And those are really like modern and developed parts of the city. There is some beautiful old Spanish architecture and things like that, but it's all converted and very modern. If you go down to the historic part of the city that I'm speaking about, you end up in this area where, yeah, you get to see like these really cool, beautiful old buildings, and everything just feels a lot more local and historical. The other tourist attraction that I want to talk about is this incredible experience that my mom and I had with Airbnb experiences. We did a tour, a day trip out to Tolantongo. We got picked up at 5 in the morning in downtown Mexico City and driven out. It was really nice to actually get out of the city and see some of the countryside around Mexico City. When we arrived in Tolantongo, I was completely blown away. You drive into the mountains, and just doing that drive is beautiful in itself, especially like as the sun is rising. But when you arrive, you come to this area where they have all of these pools built into the side of a cliff, and they have natural hot spring water running into the pools, and it is just absolutely one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen in my life. The trip was really fantastic. We spent a couple of hours in these little pools just going around, taking pictures, enjoying the warm water, basking in the sunshine, just like absolutely incredible. Then they take you from the pools down into the valley where they have this big river, and the water in the river was like this icy blue color, which apparently is completely natural. It's insane. It's caused by the minerals they were saying that are in the water there. But then you get to go like into this natural river and have lunch, and then they take you to these absolutely incredible caves. I wasn't even looking forward to the cave part of it. I was mostly looking forward to like the relaxing hot spring part of everything. But then when we got to the caves, I was completely blown away. There are these like otherworldly waterfalls that are one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my entire life. And they take you under the waterfall into these caves where there's bats and water gushing down from the ceiling, and it's like warm, and it was just like the most amazing experience. Super well organized. We had a fantastic guide. Everything was so out of this world beautiful. Getting to actually like be in the water and be in the hot springs, I feel like if you are planning a trip to Mexico City, that this is something you should definitely consider for one of your days. I'll leave the link in the description box down below for the exact tour that we went with, but oh my god, you guys, it was just absolutely incredible. We loved it, like loved it, and I look back on that trip really fondly. We had such a great time. It was so beautiful. Okay, and then just to finish up this video with something fun, I thought I would talk about my 2 favorite dessert spots. So number 1 is one that gets like all the hype, but we went back there multiple times as well, and that's El Moro for churros. The churros were just so fresh and delicious. Another one where they had like a big line every time we went, but the line moves really quickly. And yeah, if you just want like a fresh, warm, delicious, sweet treat, definitely check out El Moro for some churros. And then another one that we just kind of stumbled upon was this gelato place called Helado Bonito. So we went there because we were in the mood for some ice cream, and so I was looking up different places on Google Maps. It was really highly rated, which is, if you can't tell, kind of how me and Will like decide where we're gonna go if we don't already have a recommendation from an outside source. So we went to this gelato spot, and to my surprise, they had 8 vegan options of gelato. Usually when I go to a place like that, they'll have like 1 or 2 to choose from. They had 8. So I got peanut butter and lemon, and they were both so delicious. The texture was just so good. The flavor was fantastic. Like really some of the best gelato that I've ever had, and I've had gelato in Italy. So if you're looking for a sweet treat, either El Moro or Helado Bonito, you won't be disappointed. And that's it, you guys. That is the best of Mexico City. Those are all of my recommendations. I wanted this video to be short and concise. Was it? only time will tell as I edit it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you go to any of these places based off of my recommendation, please let me know what you thought. I'm dying to know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.